No, that's
Everything is fake news, honestly.
the internet is fake news.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us today on Marketing Beat. My name is Beverley Theresa. I'm a social media strategist, and this is my co-host.
Hi, I'm Ameet Khabra of Ameet Khabra Marketing Inc. I own an online marketing agency that specializes in pay-per-click advertising. And today we're talking about the last part of CPA strategies, automation, and then if you've got a lot more time to work on your CPA strategy, if we have enough time to get there.
So where should we get started? Tell us.
I'll be reading off my notes today because I've been feeling sick for a really long time and I'm not super duper prepared, and I apologize for that. But thought I'd just like get that out in the open before we get started because I feel like a reporter right now. I've always wanted to be on TV.
Now's your chance.
This is it. This is my audition video for CTV News.
Oh, can you aim higher, please?
Okay, fine. The National, the CBC,
Okay.
BBC, CNN. Okay, but aren't they fake news? If you've got time for if you've got time for automation, there's a couple things that you can try out. The first thing is called Target CPA, which is commonly used within the community, obviously. So if you've got a bit more time and you've got some data under your belt, and especially more conversions, so like at least 15 conversions over the last 30 days. So if you have anything less than that, then it's not suggested to even try using it. But essentially what happens is that Target CPA can help you smartly achieve your goals in lowering CPA. So essentially what ends up happening is you set up Target CPA, you select a CPA goal. So say you're currently doing $100 per lead or per sale or whatever. What you tend to, but you want to get down to like 75. The best practice within the community is actually going 20% higher than the 75. So that would be whatever number it is, because it's going to take me too long to do the math now. Actually, no, I'm going to do the math. It's going to piss me off.
So for those of you joining us while she does her math things, CPA is cost per acquisition.
Yes.
And we're talking about Google advertising.
Yes. So essentially what you would do is if your target CPA is 75, you would mark it as 90 for the time being, just because you don't want to what's the word for it? Like kind of confuse the algorithm. And especially if you're trying to go so low so quickly, it really stresses it out in a sense. It's kind of like weight loss in a sense, right? So if let's say you're 300 pounds and you want to go down to 275. No, that's too much. Hold on. No, you want to go down to 175, right? So you're not going to go on a diet plan that basically tells you that within a month you're going to be able to drop the 125 pounds. Because really what's going to end up happening is, one, your body's not going to be able to handle it because it doesn't know what the hell it's doing and it's going to be starved. But two, there's going to be a lot of extra skin, right? And I'm going somewhere with this. That's essentially kind of what happens with Target CPA, right? Because it's starved, it doesn't know what exactly it's doing, so then it makes these really weird decisions. And then the extra skin is basically them just keeping your CPA far too high, right? There's just too much clutter within it. So what you do is you go down slowly. So if your target is 75, you go with 90. So there's only a $10 discrepancy between the two, and then you slowly just start to bring it down lower and lower and lower as there's more conversion data. Does that make sense?
Yes. Don't want that extra skin, though.
I'm not a good news reporter. Damn it.
Fired.
This is how I'm going to do this. So smart bidding is essentially automated bidding. Leave me alone. It's a culmination of automated bidding that's intended to capitalize on like the user's intent. So there's a variety of like smart bidding. So there's max conversion, target impression share, target ROAS, and there's
What's ROAS for those that don't know?
return on ad spend.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And they're all kind of created to like determine what your end goal is going to be, but essentially just to like, essentially to lower CPA in a way. So smart bidding actually uses like machine learning to optimize the conversions that you've already gotten on your website. And then it just uses the auction insights as like whatever signals that they need, if that makes sense. So the most common signals Google takes into account is like demographics. So your age and your gender. There's device, so mobile, tablet, desktop, and even TV starting to come into play these days. Then there's geographic location, and browsing history. So where have you been looking, and are you looking at similar products, right? Account performance within your account, the audience membership. So when you're creating a smart list, how long is the user actually in that list for? And then the user site history. So browsing history and then the user site history are completely different in the sense that browsing history is what you've been looking at, and user site history is what they've looked on your website. So then essentially what ends up happening is Google evaluates the entire thing and takes all these signals into account, and then they determine at the ad auction if your business is valuable enough to be considered for that user.
Oh.
Yeah, it's quite nifty, eh? So it's customized as bid based, so it's part of your selected. So it would be one of the selected strategies essentially. Yeah. So those are like two good automated ways to do it, right? And that took a lot shorter time than I thought it was going to. I thought I was going to be talking about automated bidding for a really long time. So target CPA is on its own, and then smart bidding is like max conversions, target impression share, target ROAS, that type of stuff that will take a lot more signals into effect. But you have to be a little careful with smart bidding because it's relatively newish. So you need to make sure that you keep a good eye on everything, and then use the same rule as you would with target CPA. Start with something lower. So if your target ROAS is, I don't know, 100%, and you want to raise it to, let's say 19, do it in smaller increments. Maybe start to go from 13 to 14, and then to 14 to 15, and then keep on just gradually going, because you'll just see much more success when there's more data that they can actually sit there and be like, oh, this did this to increase target ROAS by 100%. So it'll maybe do it again, versus going from 13 to 19 and then it's scrambling going, I don't know what to do. You know? Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yes, dear.
Okay. So if you've got more time to actually go through and focus a lot more on target CPA, some of the other things that you can do is look into your audiences. So what I mean by that is, I think we all know who we think our target client is, or who our target user is, because we've like created these like little avatars, and we named her Sally, and she goes to get her nails did every Saturday, and she drives a Lexus, and
Is she me?
yeah, totes. She's like a busy mom, and her kids play soccer. Like we create these avatars, and they're massive and very detailed. But at the same time, we don't actually really truly know who our target audience is until we actually have an audience, right? I might think that, you know, Sally might be my target audience, but really in reality, it might be Bertha out there who actually likes golfing. Sorry, I named one of my clubs. I used to golf a lot. I named one of my clubs Bertha.
That's so creative.
So she goes golfing and likes drinking beer all day, and she's single, right? And we wouldn't know that if we were very adamant on the fact that Sally is our target audience, right? So essentially what we end up doing is that we'll take, if we're not running like a remarketing campaign or an RLSA, which is a remarketing list search ad. So essentially take, I knew, I saw the look on in your eyes. So essentially what an RLSA is a search campaign, but you've added a remarketing list on top of it as a targeting layer. And what essentially ends up happening is the only people who will see the ads are people who have already been added to the remarketing list, so people who have been on your website. So what you can do is have broader terms for your search or for your keyword bids, and then write ads that are like specifically tailored to that person in a sense. So you could be something really cheeky and be like, why are you looking at other competitors when you already know you want to come to me type of stuff. Like really creep that person out if you really wanted to.
Love it.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so great. So if you're not already running it, audience insights is a really great way to leverage here. So what ends up happening is you're going to take a look at your audience insights and then literally just pull out information, right? You're going to get your demographic information. You're going to get geolocation. You're going to even, sometimes you can get interest and stuff like that. Or like what device they were on. You're just going to deep dive into analytics. And essentially what you're going to end up doing is just creating a group around that, right? Because those are the people that are showing up to your site. We already have that information, which means that if those people are converting, other people like them will convert. It's pretty simple. And that's a great way to lower your CPA because you've already determined who is going to buy. So the next one is working on your quality score. Sorry, my dog is huffing at me right now. Very angry and not impressed.
I can't hear him.
Oh, really? I can. Well, I can.
Luke.
Luke. Oh, he's coming back. Okay. Anyway, so the next one is work on your quality score. So take a step back from your campaigns, stop looking at them so much, and try to focus on one metric at a time. I think a lot of us tend to go look at campaigns and we're like, oh, CTR is down and average position, even though they're sunsetting it, is not exactly where we want it to be or something like that. And CTR is click-through rate, before you ask Beverley.
I'm just asking for the peeps.
I know. So CTR, or click-through rate, is essentially your clicks divided by how many people saw the ad. So how many people clicked over how many people saw it. And then it gives you a percentage. And that basically tells you how effective your ads are in a sense, right? So if you have a low CTR, chances are you just need to write a better ad. But then at the same time, you need to look at the keywords. It really gets complicated sometimes. So you take a look at the keywords, and sometimes the keyword just doesn't make sense for that ad, and then you just go and break it out into another ad group or something like that, right? So it's all about just making sure you take a good look at CTR, but it's not the end-all be-all either. If your conversion rate is super high, I would probably focus more on the conversion rate side than the CTR side. But at the same time, if your conversion rate is super high, then I would look at CTR, because why not? Like, you would get more conversions then, right? But anywho.
No, nothing.
No, go.
I'll wait till then. Oh, I was just going to say, I feel like you need to do an episode where it's just like PPC for beginners.
Probably, yeah.
Because sometimes when you're talking, I'm like,
sorry, I'm like, oh my God, I've broken this down so far. Obviously, I haven't.
I can follow some of it, but then it's like hard to picture in my mind of like actually doing it.
Yeah, but I think you actually have to be in the platform in itself to be able to picture it. So I think really in reality, the most you could actually hope for is theoretically understanding. Right? But anywho, back to quality score. So if you've got time, take a step back from your campaign and take a look at it as an entire picture versus like individual spots. Do all the pieces go together? So that's like your landing page, your ads, your keywords. Are you sending the most appropriate, high quality, ready to convert type of traffic, or is it somebody that's still in the awareness stage? Take a look at all of that stuff, because really at the end of the day, what you really need to do is take in consideration the buyer's journey. If they're not ready to buy, your bounce rate is going to be super high if you try to sell them right off the bat. And that also will create a very bad quality score, because really the landing page experience isn't good. And at the end of the day, we have to consider the user. Google doesn't give a shit about us. They only care about the person who's searching. They don't care about the person who's spending the money, which is absurd to me, but whatever. So what you're going to do is try to put it depends on what school of thought you are. I'm the school of thought where you use single keyword ad groups. I think it's way easier. There's some people who believe that going back to tightly themed ad groups makes more sense because of the introduction of close variants. It really just depends on how much work you put into it, comfortable you are with everything, really. I prefer more control, so I'll do a single keyword ad group and put in that extra work from the beginning and then reduce my time after that point. But yeah, put everything in. If you want to do a tightly themed ad group, put everything in a tightly themed ad group. If you've got single keyword ad groups and you have the capability of actually creating a landing page for each keyword, do that. That'll increase your quality score, therefore lowering your CPC, so cost per click, and then lowering your CPA, your cost per acquisition. Yeah. And then next, and I think this is the last one. Let me double check here.
You have 6 minutes.
Okay. Oh my gosh. No, I have a couple, but it's okay. I can get through it. Landing page optimization. Yeah, look at your landing page. Is it fully optimized? Are you asking the right questions? Are you giving them the right information? Look at your bounce rate. Look at how long that person or how long a person stays on the website. If it's super low, try to find out what's happening. What I usually end up doing is I put like a page recorder on the website and a heat map. So essentially what ends up happening is that the page recorder will literally watch the session, and it'll some platforms, depending on which one you're using, will give you like insights, but obviously you're going to have to pay for that, and it's quite a bit. Or you could just do the work yourself, which is what I tend to prefer to do. So I'll run through all of the recordings that hit a certain filter. So if I'm trying to figure out why bounce rate is so high, I'll probably look at sessions that are less than like 30 seconds. Try to figure out why within that 30 seconds they just have to delete. And more often than not, it's because the CTA is not clear. You're not telling the user what you want from them. You're not making it easy for them to convert. Therefore, they're just leaving. So you have to really look at your landing page, because if your landing page experience isn't good, you're going to be paying a lot more money per click, which is also going to increase your CPA. But also on the other end, if your user doesn't know what to do, you're never going to get conversion. So on both sides, really, if you're optimizing your landing page, you're really doing a really great job on lowering your CPA eventually. Then you need to look at your ad copy and your new creative. Love that.
What?
I'm sorry, I just really like this action. So have you been running the same text ads or search ads for a couple months? Maybe a couple years. I've seen that happen. A friend of mine on Twitter actually is auditing an account, and there's been creative since 2015. They haven't bothered changing it, which is fine if you're using it for social proof, but if you're not, you really need to update your copy more often than not.
I know of a local agency who uses remarketing ads from like 2010 or like back in the like old. I don't know.
I hate agencies so much. Like, so much. But at the same time, like, if you're doing it for yourself, it's a little bit harder. Because I know we've made some blunders, and I claim that I'm really good at my job, and what I've done for my own accounts would not show you that. So it's, yeah.
But if you had an in-house graphic design team and a creative director, you'd think that they would catch it.
Yeah, I would definitely do a better job then. It's just me and Quinn. There's only so much we can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, yeah. If you are that agency, maybe it's time to rebuild your campaign.
Hire Ameet to help you out.
Right here. This scam.
You don't want to work with them.
I highly doubt it that I do. I have a potty mouth, and especially when I'm working with agencies, I do not hold back. Because really, a lot of people would question whether or not it's a good idea to actually start fresh. Sometimes it is a good idea. Sometimes the data that you have isn't good enough. Sometimes the creative that you have isn't good enough. Sometimes the ads that you have are just horrible. So sometimes just scrapping the entire campaign and just starting fresh is a good idea. But you have to really look at it. So if your conversion rates are horrible, your CPA is far too high, your CPC is far too high, sometimes I'll just scrap it and just start anew. And just like completely like restructure the campaign that makes more sense, and then hopefully that'll help narrow everything down. So that's something to consider. You also need to remember that one size does not fit all. All of these strategies are exactly that. They're strategies that depend on the business in itself. So you really need to think about like how the customer interacts with content, I guess, in a sense. So do they call you? Do they send a form feed? Are they booking an appointment online somehow? Are they coming into your store, right? Those are things that you need to remember and you need to put into consideration when you're thinking about lowering CPA. And then if you're using an automated bidding strategy, those are definitely things that you need to think about. Because the wrong choice will cost you a ton of money. And Google doesn't give a shit. They're not going to tell you whether you're wrong or if you're right, and if you're spending,
of course,
and if you're not, because really at the end of the day, they want your money. And again, they don't care about us, the advertiser. They only care about the user, right? Because as long as there's users, there's always going to be bitches like me who want to be on that. So
it's true.
They don't care. They genuinely do not give a shit. So take your time, look under the hood. Go over every little piece of detail that you can if lowering CPA is that crucial. Yeah, that's kind of basically really it, I think.
Cool.
This one kind of feels like a little bit of a lighter one. The other ones felt a little.
Is it? Is it a light one?
I feel like it was.
For you.
Maybe.
So if you have questions about CPA or Google Ads or AdWords in general, slide into AdWords Girl's DMs and feel free to ask her. Next week, we're going to be talking about new social media platforms and apps. And then what happened to the old ones? Who knows? Do you remember Peach or Ello?
I remember Ello.
That still exists.
Does it? Yeah, I didn't think it made it into like an artist platform type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll cover like older ones, but also like what's new and up and coming, like obviously TikTok, but what else is there that exists? And you can watch replays of our past lives on our YouTube channel. Just go to either of our profiles and the link will be in our bio. And new episodes are uploaded every Tuesday. And we are live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, so please join us. And Ameet, do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah. Beverley will be speaking at Next Big Thing on September 28th in Edmonton. Tickets are $125. I will be there. If you want to hang out with Marketing Beat IRL, you should come. Yeah.
Just come to hang out with me.
Okay, you love it when I come into town. Don't even.
I do. You're like my friend.
I would hope.
You're like... You're my BFF. Shut the fuck up.
I know. That's what you should have said from the start.
But yeah, so come to that. It's geared towards entrepreneurs and small businesses. Download the PPC dictionary terms.
We have our website now hosts a PPC download shop where we have the PPC glossary from 2 months ago, the PPC checklist, and the 14 Facebook tips to improve ad performance. We also turned it into a checklist, which will be going out in our next newsletter. So if you're not on the newsletter, you should. And then mid-month, as an extra treat and a surprise, but not really a surprise anymore, I'm going to be sharing the top AdWords scripts that I use on a
Cool. And that's all free if you're part of the newsletter, but also old downloads on your website. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so fantastic.
I know.
Okay, I think we should go now.
Okay, we're done. If nobody has any questions, we're going to be going.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe and like if you're on YouTube. Woo! Bye, bitch.
Bye.